gone. You don't have all this obvious supernatural taking place. And so Nimrod, he begins this universal world worship of the worship of the sun and the worship of the male organ at Babel in the ancient plain of Shinar. And this is where you begin to have the worship of the sun, because the sun is the generative sex principle of the male. It's through the sun interacting with female earth that we have the generation of life, etc., etc. And so this mystery Babylon religion begins in Babylon, and as it continues through the empires and through the ages, it's manifested itself in Egypt with Isis, Horus, Osiris. It's manifested itself in Babylon with Nimrod, Tammuz, in Medo-Persia with Mithras, in Greece with Hermes, in Rome with Jupiter, and then you finally have Jesus and the Virgin Mary, who is none other than Horus and Isis. So this is the mystery Babylon religion that's been continued through the various secret societies, be they Rosicrucians, Templars, Knights of St. Iones, St. John of Jerusalem. It's all the same essential religion centered in Rome.
So let me ask you this, because there was I guess they called it La Purga, where they went after the Templars. The Catholic Church supposedly went after and killed all the Templars. Now, I know they didn't kill all the Templars, but how does the Catholic Church go from purging the Templars to then actually, I guess, merging them into what are now the Masons and then gaining control of the Masonic order themselves?
Okay, the Templars were the international bankers during the Dark Ages. The Fuggers, the Jewish Fuggers, were partially their servants, but the Templars ran all the bankers. The Templars, because of their tremendous political and financial power, in command for the most part of many of the noble houses all throughout Europe. Philip the Fair of France and Pope Clement V decided to suppress the Templars. And so Jacques de Molay was arrested, and he was burned at the stake, and the Templars were formally suppressed by the Pope with a papal bull, Vox in Excelsis, in 1312. And so with this, all the treasures, all the power of the Templars were transferred to the Knights of St. John of Jerusalem, to the Knights of Malta. So the Templars then went underground and continued to stay underground until the Jesuit order was created, which is called the Order of the New Templars. Loyola himself was a Spanish Templar, and as well as an Alumbrados. And when the Jesuits were created, it was nothing more than a revival, a resurrection of the Order of the Templars. Then the Jesuits in the 1700s and 1754, they had perfected the first 25 degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry in the College of Clermont in Paris, France. So the Jesuits wrote all the high rites of Freemasonry, the rites of Memphis Mizraim, Scottish Rite, you name it, they wrote them all, and that's why you have the headquarters for the Scottish Rite in Rome, in the Piazza, where it's the same plaza where you find the Jesu, the headquarters for the Jesuits.
Amazing. That was a lot of history right there you just covered in a real short amount of time.
In fact, the Count, and I have the Count of Venice on every Friday, he told us that when you get to the 30th degree in Scottish Rite Freemasonry, they tell you that the Pope runs it.
I thought that the whole idea was behind these secret societies, was to make sure that if anything went wrong, that it would never make its way back to the Pope. I guess that's kind of changing now that they're so far along in their plans, huh?
Well, yes, Freemasonry, remember there was two great Masonic schisms. You have a Masonic schism in 1754, and you have another Masonic schism in 1877. But prior to that, the Masons were very subordinate. They were administering the policies of the Holy Roman Empire for the Jesuits, as they were controlling the Holy Roman Emperor as well as the Pope. But when you have your first Masonic schism, a result of the Masonic schism was that high-level Freemasons in France and Portugal and Spain united together for the suppression of the Jesuits, which ultimately led to the Pope suppressing the Jesuits in 1773 with his papal bull. It was not a brief, it was a bull, Dominic Ac Redemptor Noster.
Can you explain for the audience, because there's a lot of folks out there that don't know what a papal bull is. Can you explain what a papal bull is and what its, I guess, severity compared to different other edicts from the Catholic Church?
Okay, a papal bull is the strongest possible language a pope can express himself in. When it's sealed under the seal of the fisherman, and it's consigned to the Pope's Library of the Bulls. So whenever a bull is issued, it has absolute effect in every Roman Catholic country. So, for example, when Pope Clement V suppressed the Templars with a bull in 1312, that affected every Roman Catholic country. Therefore, every Roman Catholic king had to carry out that bull within his dominion. It's the same thing was true when Clement XIV suppressed the Jesuits in every Catholic country with his papal bull. So a bull is to be enforced by the political powers of the Catholic nations that are subject to the Pope. Because remember, papal government is the Pope is on top, and then the political leaders are underneath the Pope, and then the political leaders control the people at the behest of the Pope or his agents. And a bull is the strongest possible language that he can speak in.
We're going to go back now to the Catholic Church because they claim to represent Jesus and Mary and Christianity on the planet. So how does a church who has historically has represented, supposed to be anyway on its surface, represented the death of Jesus for our salvation, how do they go from representing that biblically to this new, New Age worship of the sun type religion that we're seeing in the New Age movement and these different Masonic orders and things? How do things get so twisted around from real salvation to the kind of message that you can work your way to godhood?
Well, we must always remember that the Roman Catholic institution, I don't call it a church, it's an institution. It's a geopolitical empire and has the garb of religion to deceive the innocent into believing these men are honest and want the best for you and are telling you the truth, when in fact they are subversive traitors for the purpose of establishing a global world government and reducing the population of the entire world to subservience to the Pope, the final Pope who will be murdered and risen from the dead to be the beast, the Antichrist. So what we have here is, in the creation of Roman Catholicism, it was created in 325 A.D. by Constantine at the Council of Nicaea. And it is at this council that the name of their new god is chosen. And the god that they chose was Jesu Christu, which translates to English Jesus Christ. But the Jesus Christ God that they created for themselves, that Constantine created for themselves there in 325, is not the same true Lord Jesus Christ, or in the Hebrew, Yeshua HaMashiach, of the New Testament first century church. So what we have is a great deception here in that the papacy, the quote-unquote Roman Catholic Church, is masquerading as a Christian church when it has never been Christian, it is not Christian, and it never will be Christian. It's Jesus Christ, is not the Christ of the Bible. Their scriptures, their Douay version, their Jerome's Latin Vulgate are not our scriptures. The Greek Textus Receptus and the Hebrew Ben Chaim text is translated into various languages. We have no common ground whatsoever because it's a creation of the devil in the Council of Nicaea in 325.
Amazing. And I have to take us out to break real quick, Mr. Phelps. I want to thank you again for joining us tonight, and I want to thank the audience for coming in and making this another huge, massive show here tonight. Number one over at BTR. Got the best audience in the world. You guys hang tight. We'll be back.